All right, so welcome to all of you guys, especially those who are just joining the class. Please make sure that you have your camera on. This class is about the communications industry, understanding the communications industry, in particular in Australia. So, develop how we apply knowledge of the communications industry, how we do that. First of all, we need to research and analyze communications information. I'm going to explain what is that. Just give me 1 second. I'm admitting other students to the classroom. All right, so first of all, for us to understand what is the communications industry, we need to research the communications industry. So it is impossible for me to explain this concept if you guys don't understand the meaning of the word industry. So let's start with that. Let's start the class with that. Anyone here, anyone, would please explain to me and to your classmates what is the meaning of the word industry? Who knows? Come on.
Maybe a synonym of business. Yeah.
All right. Try again. What do you say, Valeria?
A synonym of business.
No. A business or businesses that are related, that are somehow related, when you put all of them together, that makes an industry. All right, so an industry, Vale, is this big? Is this big an industry? And a business is this big.
Okay, yeah, I get it. It is like many business with the same core.
Correct.
Like that. Yeah, I get it.
All right. So now that you guys understand what is that clear what an industry is? Samuel, what is an industry?
Well, to my point of view, industry could be not a market,
right,
but a mix of, it's a combination of businesses and environment that makes an industry.
But it is very important, Samuel, that we understand that those businesses need to be related.
Okay.
They need to have the mission of the business as a common practice. All right? It's not any business. For an industry to be called an industry, we need to understand, all right, it is a combination, it is a summatory of businesses. Okay, yeah. But those businesses are related. So what is an industry? An industry is a combination, is the summatory of businesses that are somehow related. They sell the same products. They have the same customers. They follow the same practices. They are regulated by the same controllers. They follow the same legislation. They follow the same quality processes. All right? So we need to understand that. I need you guys to tell me, seriously, everyone here, if someone don't get this yet. I cannot advance if you don't tell me. So everyone understands what an industry is. If you do not understand what an industry is, you are not going to understand the rest of the class. So this is the time. Carla, what is an industry?
A summatory of businesses that are related.
Beautiful. Give me an example then.
Music,
Music what?
like the industry of music. I don't know.
How do we call that industry though?
I don't know.
Anyone?
Of music or any other industry?
Remember.
Entertainment?
Yes. Who was this? Who was this?
Me, Santi.
Well done, Vale. Because we have businesses that are related. Music business is related to the dancing business, with the sound production business, with the events business, with the musical instruments business, with the bands and solo players business. So it's not the music industry, that is the business. The industry is the entertaining or the entertainment industry. All right? In some countries, the entertainment or entertaining industry is huge. Huge. For example, Turkey. Huge. Turkey entertaining business is huge. China entertaining business is huge. United States of America entertaining business is huge. South Korea entertaining business is huge. Mexico entertaining industry is huge. Spain entertaining industry is huge. And that's why we know musicians, we know artists, we know movies, we know writers from those countries. Because that industry plays a very important role in the economy of that country. All right, beautiful. So that is one industry. Another industry, please. Give me another industry.
Food industry, maybe?
The food industry. Beautiful. Give me another industry, please. Anyone?
Football industry.
It's not the football industry, though.
Could be no, what's the name?
That is the football business.
Entertainment. Yeah, that would be entertainment as well.
No. Sports and recreation industry.
Yeah.
Sports and recreation industry. And you have football, you have cricket, you have basketball, you have golf, you have tennis, because all of them, they are businesses. Okay? Another industry, please.
The construction industry.
Extremely important industry in Australia. Extremely important. Highly regulated, and that industry plays a very important role in the economy of Australia as a country. Beautiful. Thank you for that, Camila. Another industry, please.
Healthcare.
The healthcare industry. Extremely important in Australia as well. Another industry, please. Come on,
Hospitality.
What is that?
Hospitality.
Hospitality industry. Well done. The fashion industry, someone wrote. What else?
Education.
The education industry. Well done. Which is the one that we participate in right now. Another one.
Manufacturing.
Manufacturing industry. Extremely important. Another one. What happened? What has been happening for the last 3 years with COVID and all of that? Which industry has been receiving a lot of money because of what happened?
Health.
No,
yeah.
that is different. The health.
Digital.
No.
We-commerce.
All right, the e-commerce industry, that's one. But I'm talking about a different industry that got millions of dollars because of they selling the vaccines. What is the name of that industry?
Pharmaceutical.
Pharmaceutical industry. All right, guys, you got it. You know, it's very important because if I don't explain this concept, then you don't understand what is this class all about. This class is not about the pharmaceutical industry. This class is not about the manufacturing industry. This class is not about the hospitality industry. It's not about the food industry. It's not about the education industry. It's not about the mining and primary resources industry. This class is about the communications industry. You got it? So
Yes.
what businesses are involved in the communications industry? Give me one.
Entertainment.
At some point, yes. But entertainment itself is an industry, all right? So let's leave entertainment industry a little bit in the sideline. What business is connected? Is
Radio,
what is that?
TV, radio,
So
TV,
broadcasting,
newspapers.
television, businesses, radio, broadcasting industries, businesses. Another business, please.
Newspaper,
Newspapers, industry, business. What else?
Marketing agencies.
Marketing agencies and communication agencies. What else?
Applications.
Applications in businesses that are related to communications and marketing. Yes. What else? Come on, guys. Come on.
Website.
What is that?
Website.
Websites developers, websites designers, websites templates, sellers. Correct. What else? What else? You're missing the most important ones.
Could be social media.
Yeah, thank you. Who was this? Samuel?
Yeah.
Of course, man. Of course. And I need you guys to understand social media has changed dramatically, exponentially, the communications industry. And that's why I want you guys to understand that this class will have a very extreme focus on you understanding this fact that social media has changed the communications industry. And the communications industry today is very different to the communications industry 10, 15 years ago. Totally different. But the books, the lessons, the papers, the research is still pointing to the old communications industry. I need you guys to change your mindset and to understand and to say yes to the social media business, which is critical for the communications industry in 2023. Still, listen up, we have marketing managers, we have business owners that say no to social media. Still, I have marketing students, business students that say no to social media. Unbelievable. If you guys tell me, Santi, I say no to television, I will tell you, yeah, man, no problem. Say no to television. If Valeria tell me, Santi, I say no to newspapers, I say no problem. If anyone tells me, Santi, I say no to radio, I will be like, all right, radio is still a very important business in this industry, but if you want to say no, say no. Santi, I say no to magazines. Okay, man, if you don't want to advertise, if you don't want to have presence in magazines, industry magazines, that's your call. If you say, Santi, I say no to the billboards business. You know the billboards? You know what I mean? The billboards, when you drive in and you see this big billboard with an advertising, with a piece of promotion. If you say, no, Santi, that is too expensive, I don't want, okay. But if you say, Santi, I say no to social media, you need to tell me why. You need to explain me why. And you need to have a very, very strong reason to say no. And to be honest, guys, very likely you will be wrong. But I'm telling you, by fact, a lot of businesses in Australia still say no. Still say no to TikTok. Can you believe this? Still say no to Instagram. Still say no to YouTube. Still say no to LinkedIn. Ridiculous. Also, it is ridiculous that I have marketing students that say no to LinkedIn. I am so sorry, guys, if I'm being too direct. But you need to get, you know, a real flavor of these classes. This is for you to wake up. This is a call to action. You change or else. I am here to change you, not to celebrate your decisions, not to celebrate your opinions. No. I'm here to challenge you. I am here to unsettle you. I am here to make you feel uncomfortable with yourself. Are you understanding this? If you don't feel uncomfortable, it's because you already know everything, mate. No worries. You don't need this class. But I need you to feel uncomfortable so you do something about it. I have students that in 2023 still say no to TikTok. Do you have to like TikTok? No, I'm not asking you to like TikTok. Santi, I don't like TikTok. Come on. This is not about if you like or if you dislike. That's not what we say in a business environment. No. Do we have a business case? Can we engage our audience? Can we communicate? Can we solve problems? Can we interchange information in TikTok, in social media? That is different to like or dislike. So never use the word like or dislike in a business environment or a business meeting or a business setup, because you are not kids. Kids, I like it. I don't. You are not a kid. Or you are not someone in the street or your cousin that is studying, I don't know, nursing. Oh, I don't like. That's good for them. But for us marketing business people learning this, we cannot use those words. No, I don't have a business case for TikTok, Santi. TikTok will not engage with my customer base. Okay. Okay. Very difficult. I mean, but that is a good answer. So the communications industry has been disrupted. Guys, do you understand what is the meaning of the word disruption? What is that?
Different will be a synonym of disruptive.
It's more than that. It's more catastrophic than that. Disruptive is rupture. Is you breaking it down. It's a new beginning. It's a new word. It's a new way to do things. Disruption is a very powerful yet very catastrophic word. Disruption means that a lot of businesses disappeared and others, new businesses, will appear. You understand what I mean? Disruption for the followers is a nightmare. disruption for the leaders is a blessing, in which sideline you are. Are you part of the followers, so you get disrupted and you suffer? Are you part of the leaders who take disruption as an opportunity to make and develop businesses? Think about it. What I can tell you is that the social media business has disrupted dramatically the communications industry. The vast majority of purchases that you do online, listen up, the vast, when I say vast, I'm talking about 60% plus of purchases that you do online are driven by social media posts that you observed, that you consumed days before. So, social media is critical for us business owners to move on our inventory. It's critical for us entrepreneurs to promote our brands. It's critical for us business employees and marketing employees to support the marketing strategies of our employers. I need you to be the yes person. I need you to be the person that says yes to TikTok. I need you to be the person that says yes to Instagram. I need you to be the person that says yes to YouTube. I need you to be the person that says yes to LinkedIn. Because if you don't do that, if you say no to all of these that I'm mentioning, how on earth are you going to be working for a company that is trying to survive in these disrupted times? That will be irresponsible. I, as a business owner, seriously, I will not hire anyone in my business that does not have a LinkedIn profile. Straight away, no, bye. I don't need you here. You are a no person. Guys, do you know that Australia is one of the countries with the higher use of LinkedIn per capita in the planet? In the planet? Australia? So if you are not thinking about how to use your LinkedIn profile in order to get your next job, in order to do networking, in order to demonstrate your skills and knowledge, what on earth are you doing? Listen up. I have 49 students in this class. 49 students in this class. You know how many students asked us to connect with me in LinkedIn last week? What do you think? Give me a number. What do you think, Samuel? How many students asked me for a connection?
Maybe just 5.
That was it. It
Oh.
was 5. 5 out of 49, out of 50. What is 5 in 50? What is the
Really low
percentage?
number.
What is a 10% of you guys? Think about this. Where are you? In the 20% of people that are players, or in the 80% of people that are followers? If you don't connect with me, if you don't connect with your fellow classmates, you are a follower. And the followers will have a very difficult time when it comes to understanding the communications industry in Australia, because it's a tough industry. It's for winners, it's for players. It's not for people that wants to be in the sidelines. So start organizing your LinkedIn profile. First connection, your teacher. Second connection, your classmates. Third connections, your coworkers. Fourth connection, people that you want to work with. But you need to start with with the person that is telling you all of this, which is me. But I received 5 invitations. My perception, my opinion about those 5 individuals that connected with me last class so far is the best. I know who they are. I know where they came from. I know what they study. I know what businesses they have or for which businesses they work. I know who they are, and that matters because I represent the market. Everybody else is a question mark. Are you a question mark? Don't be a question mark, for God's sake. Toughest industry, the communications industry. You don't talk, you die. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
You are distinct or extinct. That's it. That's a beautiful thing that I just said, I believe. That's one of the ones I like when this sort of thing happens. I'm going to write it for you. All right, have a look at the chat, please. All right, cool. All right, cool. We have understood the message. I need to see players from now on. All right. If you haven't created a YouTube channel, how? My daughter, 8 years old, and she has a YouTube channel with thousands of views. 8 years old. She already knows how to develop a YouTube channel. She already knows how to post videos. She already knows how to optimize, how to edit videos, how to tag videos, how to hashtag videos. Of course, she listens to my classes and all my kids do the same. And all right, fair enough. But you guys, you are 20, 23, 25, 30. Don't tell me that you have not tried YouTube yet. Don't tell me that. You don't need to create content, but you need to know how to create a channel, at least. You need to know what it takes to have a Google account. You need to know what it takes to develop a brand for that YouTube channel. You need to know that it will take you 100 subscribers for you to be able to name that YouTube channel with the brand name of your business. Otherwise, your YouTube channel will have a number. You need to know that. Otherwise, how are you going to get a job in marketing? You go to the interview, hey, do you know how many people we need to follow us to subscribe to our channels? For us to be able to use our business brand name in the channel, 100. But you don't know that unless you try it. People with Facebook. Facebook for what purpose? Facebook to talk, to communicate with your family? That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Facebook to sell, to connect to your website. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about WhatsApp. I'm talking about WhatsApp as a communication channel with your market. So please, start getting your act in order, that, putting all the places together for you to have a solid presence in social media. Otherwise, forget about the communications industry, because this is not about newspapers. This is not about magazines. This is not about television. This is not about radio. This is not about billboards. Not anymore. Beautiful. Call to action. Second part of the class. We need to learn how to do market research. Why? Because for us to communicate ideas, for us to communicate projects, for us to launch products, we need to do research. We need to do research. Do I like market research? No, I don't like market research. Anybody likes market research here? Anyone
really.
enjoys market research?
Not really.
It's horrible. But we need to know how it works. I don't like it. But we need to know what is that, because we need to research before we talk. We need to know before we talk. We need to know the market before we talk. In other words, we need to research before we communicate. We need to research before we sell. We need to research before we penetrate a market. But we need to know that your teacher, Santi, does not like market research. Why I don't like market research? What do you think? Anyone has an idea why I don't like market research?
It's exhausting.
It is exhausting. Market research is exhausting. What else? Why I don't like market research? Give me more.
Takes time.
It takes time. A lot of it. A lot of it, mate. And that is what we don't have. You understand that? We don't have time. Samuel, why we don't have time? Why? Valeria mentioned that before, or she uses the word that I need you to convey here. Why we don't have time?
I would say because the market is changing all the time. So we need to go with the flow.
Yes. Because the market is disrupted. Valeria, you got it? When the market,
Yes, I get it.
when the market is not disrupted, when it's not disrupted, the market is come on, thinkers. Come on, thinkers. When the market is not disrupted, the market is
Stable.
Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, Samuel. That's it. What is happening, Ampini? I haven't heard your voice. What is happening with everyone that is listening to all of this and is not mentioning one word? Don't do that. Don't get used to the silence in a communication class. Don't get used to the silence in a communication class. Samuel, can you repeat what you said?
Oh yeah, if the market is not disrupted, then it's stable.
When the market is stable, speed is the enemy. When everything is, you don't need to run. Everything, tomorrow will be the same, and in 3 months will be the same. The market is stable. So what is the point of going fast? You are going to fall down. And you're going to look like you're in a hurry. You don't want to give that perception. But if the market is disrupted, you have to be very fast because you need to change. You need to be nimble. Hey, another beautiful word that I want you guys to understand and to learn. What is the meaning of the word nimble? What is it? What is the meaning of the word nimble? Tell me. The word nimble means that you are fast and flexible at the same time. Picture that. Picture that. Nimble. Nimble. What is you being nimble? What is a business being nimble? What is an organization being nimble? It's a business that is agile. It's a person that is agile. It's an organization that is agile. But what is the meaning of it? You are fast, but you are flexible as well. Like the rabbit. Have you seen a rabbit? Have you seen a rabbit running?
Yes.
How they don't go in a straight line, mate. They stop in a second and they change direction. Have you noticed that? And that's why they're so difficult to hunt. For the fox, a rabbit is a big challenge because it's nimble. In disrupted times, you need to be super nimble. You need to be super fast and you need to be super flexible, which means that you need to say yes to new things. You need to prototype new products. You need to develop quickly prototypes. And if they don't work, you say, all right, I try again. But it is about developing minimum viable products. You launch it, you pre-launch it, to the market, you get some feedback. If it works, you continue with the second stage of it. If it doesn't, then you discard it. MVP, get that. Guys, I want you guys to take note because we are starting this program. And the minimum viable product theory is critical for us because that is the only way to win in disrupted times. And I'm going to tell you something, my friends. We are going to be in disrupted times for at least 2-3 years more. For at least 2 or 3 years more. So prepare for what is going on. Prepare to prototype, prepare to talk, prepare to change, prepare to be different tomorrow. That's okay. Being the same in disrupted times does not work. All right. So now that we know why we need to be nimble, now we know that market research is the enemy. Why market research is the enemy? Because it takes time. You understand? You understand where I came from? Samuel, it takes time, but also it takes what?
Energy, I guess.
Yes, but what is the meaning of energy in business?
I would say
Money?
Money.
Effort?
money, yeah.
That's it. Money and resources. So you are placing money, resources, people, processes, energy, yeah, and time doing a market research for 6 months? Are you kidding me? Oh, Santi, I will do a market research for 6 months, Santi, before I know if I have to launch this business or not. I need to ask my friends. I need to think and I need to discuss it with my boyfriend and I need to find out if this is the right name or not. I am going to plan. I will do market research. No, man. Do that, and the competition will give you 3 rounds, 4 rounds, and you're still thinking. This is not the time for thinkers. 1980s, everything was very stable. 1990s, everything was fantastic for strategic planners, fantastic for planners. 2023 for planners? Are you a planner? Are you a thinker? You are not in the right timing, my friends. No thinkers in this class. No thinkers. Critical thinking, yes. But thinkers, long-term thinkers, asking 1,000 people if they like, imagine, oh, do you like my logo? How silly is that question? How silly. Oh, Santi, I'm going to present my logo I'm going to do market research and I'm going to present my logo to 100 people and I'm going to ask them if they like my logo. What? Are you listening what I'm saying? It's not about dislike. It's not about like. It's about engagement, emotion, and attachment. It's not about liking or disliking. So don't waste your time doing market research. I am repeating this. Don't waste your time doing market research. Action is what we need. And if it doesn't work, you fail badly, okay? You lost some money, okay, but at least in 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, now you know that you need to do something else. And that is okay. Failing is fine. Always you fail fast. Are you getting this, guys? Fail, but fail fast. So market research is not your friend because it takes a lot of time and a lot of resources and a lot of money and a lot of personnel and so on. But we need to know the types, the kinds, the differences of market research methods. The first market research method is quantitative market research. The second is qualitative market research. Quantitative market research, qualitative market research. Who knows what is quantitative market research?
We're speaking about quantity, so I guess it would be like the information that you would gather from like doing research.
But the information in the what is the shape of that information, Camila? If it is if that is quantitative, that information will be expressed in what?
Like numbers,
Thank you.
like how much you got.
Yes.
And they
Enough.
can be graphics as well, maybe databases and graphics or something like that.
Yes. But I'm going to tell you something, all right? And don't take it wrong. And Samuel, this goes for you as well. Because you said before, I think, I believe, something like that. Please don't use those words in my classes, okay? I don't like that. Instead of saying something like that, just say, this is what it is. I mean, I want you to be confident, guys. You know what I mean? In my classes, don't use, oh, Santi, I believe. No, I know, or this is it. You know, don't protect yourself in my classes. You don't need to do so. That's why the classes are full. All right. Quantitative market research could be expressed in databases that as a result will give you graphics that will be composed by numbers, percentages, and so on. Yes, 100%, Mariana. Camila, if that is quantitative market research, what is qualitative market research?
The quality of research you would get.
And no, nothing to do with quality, my dear. Camila? No quality. Qualitative. If quantitative is expressed in numbers, qualitative will be expressed in, come on, Valeria.
Satisfaction.
No. If
Perceptions,
and the perceptions
feeling,
are expressed in what?
The feedback.
descriptions,
And descriptions are expressed in what?
words.
Thank you.
So a specific answer.
Thank you. Quantitative numbers, qualitative words. What the computer prefers.
Numbers.
Thank you, Camila. Well done. What humans prefer.
Words.
Thank you. That's it. You see? Now you understand what is quantitative and qualitative market research. Computers, they cannot. I mean, they are starting to deal with words. Have a look at what is happening with ChatGPT or to Grammarly. Anyone is using Grammarly here? Any Grammarly fan?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah,
Oh my
anytime.
goodness.
Anytime.
Have Grammarly?
In all the applications that I
Oh
have
my
Grammarly.
God. Grammarly has to be in your desktop. Grammarly has to be in your phone. Grammarly has to be in your iPad. Grammarly has to be next to you, my friends. You know what I mean? The tools are there to be used, and Grammarly is one of the most powerful tools for people like you and me with an accent. With people like you and me, where English is our second language. But I write an email and I use Grammarly and look, no mistakes. Grammarly uses words and computes words, and that is amazing. 5 years ago, that was not even possible because computers were computing numbers. Numbers being expressed in code, and that code being expressed in a binary code, in a binary sequence of numbers 0 and 1. That is the language of computers, all right? 0 and 1. Words? No, because we use sarcasm. Anybody knows what is sarcasm?
Yeah.
Mm.
Can you give me an example of sarcasm? Or you're being sarcastic, Camila?
It's when like you try to tell something to someone that could potentially hurt them, maybe. So you tell them in a like sarcastic way, maybe with a joke.
Give me an
And
example.
then
Give me an example, Camila.
let's say I have a friend and I don't like how they styled their hair today. So I'm like, hey, your hair looks drastically pretty today.
But you give that,
And we
you know,
just laugh it off.
but it's the opposite, isn't it? Imagine a computer organizing that information. The computer will exploit. So we humans, we can understand if someone is being is using sarcasm. Imagine understanding love and romance. Imagine a computer understanding love and romance. And that's why computers don't like to use this. They are starting now to use it though, all right? But they are really good with numbers. So quantitative market research will be using numbers, and you will have surveys that will absorb information, and the information will be expressed in numbers. For example, if I ask you from 1 to 10, how much you like this class, you will give me a number, and that number will be added to the database. And then I will divide the total, the summatory of all the numbers that you gave me by the numbers of students that I have, isn't it? And then I will have an average qualification in terms of satisfaction for my class. For the computer, that is piece of cake, isn't it? But if I ask you, hey guys, would you mind to write a review, a recommendation about how you feel? It's going to be more difficult for you. And it's going to be more difficult for me. But it's more meaningful. It's more meaningful. So if we need to do market research, try to do market research that if it is quantitative, you have a data set that is well organized and a computer that can process that. If you are going to use qualitative market research, have someone that can translate those words, those emotions to stories. And that story as a result of those emotions and words will be the result of that market research. But in both cases, my dears, it will take you probably months to do this.
Oh my God.
Now, have you heard about the expression get ready, aim, and shoot? Have a look at the chat. Have you heard that expression, guys?
Yeah.
I think so.
Think about it in your language. Get ready, aim, shoot. What is the order that I need you guys to use now? Give me that order in the chat. Please, someone write it. What is the order that I need you guys to do now when you do marketing? Write it. Let's see if you understood this class. Still very conservative, Valeria. Try again. No. No, Ari, no, that is very conservative. That is going to take you ages. Come on, Vale, try again. That's it. Shoot. Get ready. Shoot first. Shoot. Guys, shoot. For God's sake. Domain name, buy it. New business, run it. New book, read it. New contact, meet with him. Shoot. Stop thinking, for God's sake. It's not the time for thinkers. All right? So that encompasses everything that I want to say so far. Shoot. Be a shooter. Now, we also need to find information that is available to us, And we have that information in 3 different formats. The first one is called primary information. The second one is called secondary information. And the third one is syndicated information. I wrote this in the wrong chat. Just give me one moment. What is primary information, guys? Tell me.
The basic or the first information.
No. What is primary information? What is secondary information? What is syndicated? If you need information in order to make decisions, you may use primary information, you may use secondary information, you may use syndicated information.
Primary would be like the most important.
No.
The most available information you can find, like the most easy type of information.
No.
The one that
In fact, is the most difficult one. In fact, primary information is the most expensive information to get and is the more difficult information to get. Because you need to get the information yourself. You need to do the surveys yourself. You need to go to the street yourself. You need to ask people yourself. You need to do the clinics yourself. You need to do the focus groups yourself. You need to pay for people to do the surveys and the analysis yourself. You need to do the quantics of the research yourself, because everything that you do is pointing to solve your problem, your own problem. Secondary information, in the other hand, someone that has a similar business, someone that is in the same industry, they did a primary research, and I use that primary research in order to have information to make my decisions. That is secondary information. Examples. Imagine that you want to sell mountain bike gloves. You want to sell mountain bike gloves in Melbourne. If you do market research to sell these gloves and you want to use primary, what you need to do? Tell me.
Go around the brands and the type of quality and the fabric that other people use and adapt it to your own brand.
You don't know, too fast. You cannot adapt it yet because you are changing your product already. No, we're talking about getting the information. We are not changing, doing anything yet. if we want to do primary research in order to sell gloves like this, mountain bike gloves in Melbourne, what you need to do if you want to use primary?
Maybe find some people
Yeah.
who do mountain bike and then just ask them or see what kind of gloves do they use, colors, sizes, materials.
Exactly right. That is primary because Samuel is asking directly. Samuel, you know, you take your car or whatever, you go to the mountain bike track in St. Kilda or the one in the Dandenong Ranges, and you ask mountain bikers, hey, show me the gloves that you have. Try these ones. What is your size? What materials do you like? How much they wear those gloves? How much money are you willing to pay for a quality product? Blah, 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 blah. And then the next week you go to Ballarat, and the next week you go to a different city or town in Victoria, and so on and so on and so on until you have a sample that represents the population in Victoria that rides, uses, buys mountain bikes. But you do the entire thing. It's going to be super expensive. It's going to be very, I mean, you will be dedicating a lot of resources to it. That is primary. Well done, Samuel. All right. Now, you don't want to do primary. You don't have the money to do all of that. You don't have the time. Then you do what?
You ask somebody to do it.
No. You still do it
Or-
yourself. You still, but instead of you going directly to the people to get the information, what you do?
A survey
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
No, if you do the
Research.
survey online, you're still asking people directly. No, that is primary. If you do the survey online, that is primary. What is secondary?
Or
Just take a look of the business just
um,
around the place that you want to start to selling. And yeah, just take a look of the competition maybe.
Primary. You are doing it yourself. You are directly involved in the research. You are taking notes. You are taking data. You are making notes about what is going on. No, that is primary. What is
You take
secondary?
someone else's data.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. You go to the internet, you go to a magazine, you go to a book, you watch a documentary about someone that has successfully done a mountain bike or any kind of bike business related to gloves in Australia. And you take that information and you use that as your market research. Someone else did it for you, but it's not that the other person is doing the, you know, Samuel, it's not like the other person is doing the service for you, because that will be directly, no. Someone else
Okay.
did the surveys for their own business, not for our business. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then we use that information as a good source of knowledge for us to make decisions. All right? So which one is cheaper?
The second one.
the second one.
100%. It
Yeah.
could be free. Which one will take more time?
The first one.
The first one. Good, good. Now, what is syndicated information? Anyone knows? That's okay if you don't know this one. All right. Listen, that is my preferred one. There are companies. In Australia, for example, there is a company that is called Nielsen. Anybody has heard about Nielsen?
No.
All right. Nielsen is a market research company. Anyone has heard about Accenture?
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Mm,
Anyone has heard about
Consultory.
Deloitte,
Mercer,
Mercer,
PwC.
PwC? Those businesses, what they do, What they do, what Nielsen does, what Accenture does, what Deloitte does, what Mercer does, what they do. Tell me.
Worldwide surveys
Yeah.
with different industries, and you just buy that information and just get to your own market, and then you analyze it.
And it will cost you $3,000 because that is what it will cost. You have bought many of those. Oh, Nielsen, do you have any research how people consume products related to mountain biking? Oh, yes, man. We did a market research last year, and it's not with gloves, but it's with helmets. That information is very fresh and is highly, highly accurate. Would you like it? How much? 3,000. Give it to me. Give it to me. It came from Nielsen. Deloitte, hey, Deloitte, do you have any market research about how people buy online mountain bike gloves? Oh, yes, man, we have a research that we did with all the brands that are available in Australia related to how people buy and sell gloves for mountain biking. Do you want it? Yes, I want it. How much? 4,000. All right, give it to me. That is syndicated market research. And market research that is syndicated is what people that is working for corporations, for large businesses use. When you have a small business, you don't do that. You do primary research, you do it yourself. Or you do secondary, you don't do syndicated. Syndicated is for large corporations because there is a high ticket involved there. All right? Okay, guys, let's get back. I'm going to ask you a few questions. You tell me yes or no. If you tell me no, please tell me and I will answer the question, or I will try to refresh the knowledge. Is it clear? Is it clear what is an industry?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is it clear what are the businesses that are involved in the communications industry?
Yeah.
Everybody else?
Yes.
Is it clear that the communication industry has been disrupted?
Yes.
What
Yep.
disrupted
Yes.
the communications industry?
Social media.
Now, when we need to do something, we need to research. Now, I don't like it, but we need to know how it works. All right? So we need to do primary research. What is primary research, anyone?
And the most valuable and the higher information to get.
It's extremely accurate because you are doing it for the very purpose of your own business. Very accurate, but it's very expensive and it takes a lot of time, isn't it? What is secondary market research, guys?
Using someone else's data.
We are using someone else's market research and we take that information to make our own decisions. That's really good. That's really good. What is syndicated market research?
Buying the info online.
Buying the info online from a company that is highly specialized doing market research. Good. All right. What is quantitative market research? Quickly.
Numbers.
Yeah.
It's information that is represented in numbers, and we use graphics and so on in order to tell a story with those numbers. What market research uses words, expressions, and emotions?
Quantitative.
No.
Qualitative, sorry. Yeah,
Qualitative uses words.
Quality.
Qualitative. No quality, qualitative market research. All right.
Yeah.
Emotions, words, expressions, and it is expressed in micro stories. All right, beautiful guys. We have done a lot today in terms of knowledge that we need. We haven't finished though. We haven't finished though, but we are going to have a short break before we continue with the last part of the lesson. All right. So what time is it, guys?
At 11.
11.
All right. Oh my goodness, yes, I'm supposed to do this. All right, good. So let's do a 10 minutes break. All right, 10 minutes break, go and grab a coffee or something. And I will see you guys in 10 minutes. Thank you for the participation, good energy. See you guys in 10 minutes, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Hey guys, welcome back.
Hi.
Hello.
All right, thank you for coming back. Cameras on. All right, so what have we done so far? We have identified sources of information. We have learned about the communications industry. We have analyzed what is happening with the communications industry in terms of technology, in terms of social media. We have analyzed all these technological developments, the trends, TikTok. Now, we're going to talk about the issues, the problems, the negative part of the communications industry. Are you ready for this? The communications
Yes.
industry is highly corrupted. Highly corrupted. All right? It's a nasty industry. It's highly corrupted. Why?
Probably because somebody can pay to modify the
Exactly.
information.
Exactly. Samuel, well done. Because it is driven by money. The communications industry is driven by money. And a lot of people, they see something on television and they believe it straight away. A lot of people, they read an article in the internet and they believe it straight away.
It's like
Yep.
that's our responsibility to like look twice and look at different type of platforms, different type of news. Like I am studying actually social communication, and like that's one of the most important things that you have to do. You cannot believe like the main TV news that every day at 12 noon they give you all the news. No, you have to be careful. You have to read a lot of articles. You have to see a lot of not TV shows, but new news and all of that. So you have to be very careful about that. There are a lot of like a lot of um these are like these pages that they work with journalists that try to give the truth about things. There's a lot of journalists that work with this perspective of giving the truth to people. So yeah, it's an interesting thing because you can go and take a look and search for pages that have a lot of good articles about a lot of things, and they mostly like to give like news that are true and things like that.
So true. Well done, Mariana. We need to read. We need to be readers. We need to use critical thinking. We should not believe everything that we read. We should not believe everything that we see. We need to question everything. When we came to the academia, when we came to the school, we need to learn how to use critical thinking. It's one of the most important skills nowadays. However, a lot of people, especially adults, especially people in the 50s, 60s, if they see something in television, they will believe it straight away. If they see something in the TV, in the news, they will believe it straight away. And we need to understand that a lot of those bad journalists, they are being paid by corporate America, by corporate globalists to send a message that has an agenda. It is a program. That's why we call television programs. That's why we call them radio programs, because there is an agenda that these communicators want to achieve. Those communicators that are not neutral, that are not working based on truth. We need to be very, very careful with that. All right? That is one of the issues of the communications industry. So there are economic groups, there are corporations that own the newspapers. So if that corporation is selling sugary drinks, the television program, the newspapers will tell you, no, there is nothing wrong with sugary drinks. They are all good. If that corporation that has below the umbrella a television outlet channel, they will tell you, and they have as well a pharmaceutical company, they will tell you, oh, all these drugs, they are good. Don't worry about them. So we need to be very careful with that, because not everything that we hear, not everything that we see is true. And communications have been used by politicians, by large corporations, in order to change the perception of a society. From the very beginning, from the Nazi times. Have you heard the term propaganda? Anyone? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
comes from the Latin word.
So that's what I don't want you to do. I do not want you to do propaganda. I do not want you to follow an agenda when you communicate to your market. I want you to be neutral. I want you to base your communications on the truth. If you are not ready for that, you cannot be working in the marketing and communications industry. You cannot. You cannot. Like, a lot of people do not like marketing, and they have a lot of reasons why not to like marketing. A lot of people do not like communications, and they have good reasons why they don't like communications. It's because that industry has been highly corrupted by big buyers, by big sponsors. So that is one of the issues that I wanted to discuss with you guys. And I want you guys to be very careful with it. As Mariana has said, do your own research, read, find different sources of information, talk to a specialist before you make any decision related to your voting, related to your health, related to your consumption. Please. All right. Second issue, the communications industry takes advantage of people that do not know how it works. A very important part of the communication industry, as we discussed it before, is the marketing and advertising businesses. Marketing and advertising agencies will take advantage of you if you don't know marketing and communications. So we need to know the basics. We don't need to do everything. It is totally okay to hire an advertising agency to do the advertising for you. It is totally okay to hire a marketing agency to do the marketing for you. But you need to know, hopefully more than them, your product, your services, your market. So when they do the communications and marketing, it is according to your company's policies and procedures. All companies, they have policies and procedures, guys, and we will be talking in every class about policies and procedures. What is a policy? What is a company policy?
Is the rules you have to follow that are already established by the business?
Well done. And what is a procedure?
It's like
The correct
when you
path.
take action.
Sorry.
Like the way to
Oh, sorry,
take
sorry.
action to make things.
Yeah.
Is the way that you implement that policy. So the policy, this is what you cannot do. This is what you can do. The procedure is how you implement that policy if something goes wrong. If you need to act on that policy, you need to follow this procedure, this methodology, this set of rules, these processes. So all businesses that are well-governed, businesses are governed by who? Who is the person that governs a business?
The CEO.
The CEO. Who is the person that governs a country?
The president.
Depending on the country.
Yeah, it depends.
There's a monarchy. Let's say a monarchy. Yeah, the royal family.
Depends on
but
the
like
country. Yeah.
like in
It could be
case
the
of Germany,
president,
the president or
or it
senator.
could
Yeah.
be in Australia, will be
Prime Minister.
the prime
Prime
minister.
Minister, yeah.
Well done. So the prime minister, the president, they are the CEOs. What CEO stands for? Who knows?
Oh, I forgot. Well, basically, it's the boss.
Yes, but what
Chief
C?
Executive Officer.
Correct. The chief executive officer. That person needs to execute the policies. That person needs to execute the procedures. That person needs to communicate the mission of the business. That person needs to communicate the vision of the business to everyone, so everyone is motivated and everyone is pushing the same direction. So these kind of people, they have a lot of power, but power itself is not enough. Power itself is not enough. What else you need beyond power for people to do what you want them to do?
I would say respect, trust.
Respect,
Right.
trust. And that could be described with the word influence. We need to have power and influence. And when you have power and influence, you develop a set of rules for people to follow. And you make it very difficult for people to change those rules. Those rules could change. But in a business, for a policy to change, the chief executive officer needs to meet with the company's board of directors, and each one of the directors needs to agree to change that policy. The policy cannot be changed by a manager. Are you understanding what I mean? I will try to explain this in a different way. Imagine a pyramid, a triangle. Who is at the top of that pyramid in a company? Who?
The CEO.
And who
Yeah,
is just below?
President?
I don't know.
General.
Director, the manager.
The directors.
The director.
Who is in the middle?
Maybe managers or supervisors.
Manager, supervisor. Who is at the bottom?
Staff.
Employees.
How horrible is that word? Staff. How horrible. How horrible, but we need to use it for the sake of this class, all right? But don't use it. Don't call people at the bottom of this pyramid staff. Call them your team, all right? The word staff, I know is used in Australia, but we don't use it in this class unless it is to explain this concept. All right, so the CEO is the person that gives direction to the company, is the person that makes decisions in the company. That is why this person makes $300,000, $4,000, $500,000, $500,000 per year, because the responsibility is huge. For someone to be a director of a company, that person needs to study 20 years. That person needs to say no to parties. A lot of times, that person needs to say no to family. You understand the cost of it? It's huge. For someone to be at the very top of a company, that person needs to sacrifice a lot of years and a lot of fun and a lot of family time. Even family, even not having family to be there. All right? So it is not easy to be at the top. But when you are at the top, you have some retributions, salaries, shares, participation in the company's holdings, which is pretty good too. One of the responsibilities is to approve the policies. Everything that we do when it comes to marketing and communications needs to follow the company's policies and procedures for that particular marketing and communications area. All right? So one of the issues that we have with the communications industry is that advertising and marketing agencies, they take advantage of people and businesses that do not have well-governed structures with clear policies and procedures related to marketing. One of the things that you will learn in my class as we advance is you need to have policies and procedures that your employees, your staff, your team need to follow. So when they interchange ideas, when they sign contracts with suppliers, advertising agencies, and so on, they do the right thing. The advertising agency, if they smell that you don't know about advertising, they will charge you more. The advertising agency, if they smell that you don't know about search engine optimization, they will charge you more. The advertising agency that smells that you don't know about how to launch a marketing campaign, they will charge you more. The advertising or marketing agency that smells that you don't know about marketing and communication, they will send you a report that will not be telling the entire truth. That is one of the issues with this industry. It's a highly specialized industry that takes advantage of naive people. It is a highly specialized industry that takes advantage of naive people. One of the reasons you are doing this class is to develop knowledge and apply that knowledge when you deal with the communications industry. You need to get those skills. What are those skills? Understanding how the industry works. How the industry works. There are some media outlets, there are some channels. We use those channels, but not all of them are necessary. Not all of them are right for our brand. But the advertising agency will tell you, use television. And happens to be that your audience don't use television, but they want you to use television because you don't know how to do market segmentation. Do you know how to do market segmentation? I wonder. Do you know how to do target marketing? I wonder. You may not know now, but you will. Once you know what is your target market, you only advertise, you only communicate using the channels that your audience will use as well. The bill of your advertising cost will go down, but the agency will not be happy because they want you to sell more. They want you to buy more. All right? So that is one of the issues that I want to discuss. The first one, the corruption, which is corporate bodies using a narrative in order to tell people what they should do, not always for a good reason. That is one of the issues with the communications industry. The other issue of the communication industry is that industry is highly specialized and they take advantage of naive people when they don't know about that industry. Cool. All right. Now, we need to find out how to deliver the communication, all right? And we can deliver the communication using the following methods. Emails. What is the good thing about emails? We discussed that last class. What is the positive thing about emails? So if you want to send the communication using an email, what is the good thing about that?
It's direct. It's direct. If you send an email, it's really direct.
It's very direct. What is another benefit?
You can also add images. You got to a specific group of people, the same.
What? 100%. What is another benefit of using emails?
You can reach a amount of people.
Perhaps the most important benefit of using emails is that you can track.
Oh, yeah, true.
If the email was sent, if the email was received, if the email was read. There is a trace of that email. You can go back to your folder, you can search for sent emails. You can find out what was the last email that you sent to that client or customer. It is very simple to allocate and to manage. Emails are very good for that reason. All right. Now, another way to develop, another way to output communication will be, one is email. What is the other one?
I don't know.
Guys, please, everyone. I need everyone to start to be connected to the
You
class.
said WhatsApp also.
Websites, of course. People go to your website, they see what you sell, what is the price of what you sell, how they can contact you, and that creates a bridge between the seller and the buyer. Well done. So emails, websites, what is another communication outlet?
Social media.
Social media, well done. Well done. What is another communication deliverable outlet? So we
Mouth to
have
mouth.
emails, we have social media, we have websites. What else?
Mouth to mouth.
Voice, what is that?
If you tell a friend,
Word of
that
mouth.
person, yeah.
Perfect. What else?
Text messages.
Text messages and phone calls. And nowadays, which is one that we use a lot? Which is the one that we are using now?
Social media.
Streaming.
Streaming, Zoom, or Teams, or Google, any one of these outlets for you to communicate with people in mass. All of these are communication deliverables, and they need to follow the company's policies and procedures in terms of how long the class will be, how many people can be in the class, what will be the thematic of the class. The communication is the class itself, but there is a policy that allows us to play within that framework. Well done. Now, don't forget about this. The most relevant one for companies is still emails, because you can track communications. However, the one that is growing the most is WhatsApp. The one that is growing the most, the one that is changing businesses as I speak, is WhatsApp. More and more businesses are using WhatsApp to communicate with customers, and that is fantastic. That is really good. Like a business without WhatsApp, if we don't have these kind of tools, our customers will wonder why that company don't want to talk to me. That's why we need to have these tools. If we don't have these tools, like social media, like chatbots, like WhatsApp, like emails, our customers will wonder why that business do not want to talk to me. It's not with the telephone number anymore. No one is calling the telephone of that business anymore. No one is doing that. We are using WhatsApp, we're using chatbots. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. You need to have a chatbot for you to be able to play in this industry. Let me show you something, guys. Can you see this screen, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear.
Yes.
So
I
this
see.
is one of my businesses, all right? This business, it has the chat straight away. Look, I'm going to load it again. I load it, and straight away, information, I scroll down, and I get this little icon for people to chat with me. All right? People chat with me, and I receive in my phone straight away any question that anyone wants to ask. All right, and then I receive that straight away in my phone, and I reply to that person straight away. That is how I sell. If I don't have this communication tool, I will not be able to sell as I do now. So I just want you guys to be super ready for this reality of using chatbots. And the
Do you
likes.
answer to the clients yourself, or you have somebody else?
I answer everything myself because this is a small business. I don't like large operations, at least not now, probably in the future. But everything that I do is managed and controlled by me because for me, the quality is extremely important. And again, I have a small operation, so I still manage everything myself. And I love it. You know, that's something I like. I like receive these messages and talk to people in Messenger and discuss what they need to learn and what they need to pay and invite them to be with me. All right? But that is critical. We need to be ready to deliver communications using chatbots. We need to be ready to deliver communications using emails. We need to be ready to deliver communications using social media. We need to be ready to deliver communications using Zoom. I'm not talking about television. I'm not talking about radio. I'm not talking about newspapers. But 15 years ago, I will be telling you, we need to be ready to do television ads. We need to be ready to do newspaper ads. We need to be ready to do radio ads. But now I'm telling you a totally different story, because the communications industry has been disrupted by technology. All right, cool. We almost finished. We almost there in terms of theory. All right. What else we need to do? Just let me check. All right. And also, we need to share that communications with people within the company so they approve our communications. If we want to send a communication, the communication has to be approved by our manager or by our supervisor or by the person in charge. Always, we need to share the content and we need to get it approved. Always. This is not optional, all right? Before you publish, because one is published, it is published. Once you publish something in social media, it is published. Once you publish something in the website, it is published. People can take screenshots, people can take photos, and they can tell you, hey, look, but you are charging $100 today, but yesterday it was $80. I want to pay $80. Different times when it was in newspapers, you publish something that you didn't like, 3-4 days later, that newspaper is all news. Or if it was really, really bad, what you did, you can buy all the newspapers in that city and nobody will know. That has been done before. Right? So we need to be very careful about that. Always, before you publish any communication related to your business, you need to get manager's approval. Don't forget that. It's a very important part of the online quiz as well. And finally, when you finalize the communication, you need to seek feedback. How the communication was. What is the engagement of that communication? All right? How that communication is helping you to sell more. How you will change the communication next time. All right? That is what you need to understand. All right? We have done research. We have done delivery. We have done feedback. Research the communication, information channels, information sources. We have delivered the communication using technology, using emails, using newsletters, using websites, and we have reviewed the communication by asking feedback, by asking people how the communication was, and by analyzing reports, dashboards that will tell us how the communication went. For this to be done automatically, you guys need to get familiar with software. What software? HubSpot. You need to learn HubSpot. Please take notes about HubSpot. Write it and do research about HubSpot, because this is what 60% of companies in Australia use to automate their marketing and communications. A company don't go to Outlook and they write an email directly in Outlook. They have something that is a marketing system, a CRM, to do all the communications and marketing. Anyone knows what CRM stands for?
Customer relationship management.
Mhm.
Customer relationship management system. Well done. We have to feel confident using CRMs. Which one I want you to use? HubSpot. Why? Because that is the one I use. And I have used 7 different CRMs in my life. And the one I like the most is HubSpot. I love it. I have done outstanding things with this CRM. This is how I manage my communications and my marketing. I have done such a good job with HubSpot that HubSpot, which is a company in Boston, Massachusetts, have published an article talking about what I did with HubSpot. If you go to Google and you search like Santi Vela, HubSpot, let's see. There you go. There is this article here. This is HubSpot, the company I'm talking about what I did for this company. Look, I saved 80% of operational costs, and I increased 9 times, almost 10 times, leads for this company. Look, Santiago faced several challenges. They talk about what I did in Australia with HubSpot, how I saved 80% of operational costs. How important was that for our sales? Santiago, blah, blah, blah. This is fantastic for my profession because this huge company wrote a huge article about the work that I did with HubSpot. This is my photo here. Santiago Vela. All right. So this is the software that I use, HubSpot. And I want you guys to explore this software because this is free. And it's really good to start working with it for you to manage your communications, your sales, your service, your operations, and everything else. Is extraordinary. Now, if you don't want to use HubSpot, the second one that I will recommend you is called Salesforce. Anyone has heard about Salesforce?
Yes.
Yes.
Really good, but very
Yes,
expensive.
Santi.
Very
Even more
expensive.
than Hubs, the HubSpot.
It's fantastic, but it's really expensive. So that's why I like HubSpot. But there are many CRMs. You can use Marketo. You can use Sugar. You can use ClickView. You can use Pardot. All right. But the one I recommend you guys is HubSpot. All right, guys. Theory done. Theory done. Now we know about the communications industry, the issues of the communications industry, and the technology that we need to use in order to develop communications for our companies. Theory done. Second break. Once we return from the break, we are going to do 2 assessments. We're going to do the online quiz. We're going to do that together. And then we finalize the lesson with the observation assessment. All right? So enjoy your break. When you came back from your break, I want everyone using Accelerate because we are going to be doing the practical component of our class. Any question before I go to the break?
No.
No,
Santi.
Santi. Oh,
Anna, tell me.
It's not a question, just I have to tell you that I have to go at 11:30 because I have to work.
That's okay, Carla.
But I can finish the observation.
You
like
came to
later.
the classes, watch the recording too. This is being recorded because if you watch the recording, you will see how we did the observation and how we did.
Okay.
The most important assessment for me, guys, don't forget about it, is the observation assessment. That is the assessment that if you do it right, everything else is secondary. All right. So Carla, for you to do that observation assessment properly in your own, just watch the recording. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for your attendance, and I will see you next week.
Thank you.
Mariana, you have a question.
Yeah, which part, well, in Accelerate, we have to go and search for like which part, or you're going to let us know when we come back from the
Learning
break?
plan. So you have the learning plan, unit number 2. So last week we did make presentations. This week, communications industry is the number 2. Open that and you will find the assessments there.
Okay, thank you.
All right. If anybody has a technical problem, easy. We fix it after the break. No worries. Alisa, we just went to a break. I will see you guys in 10 minutes. Okay, guys, thank you for coming back. Let's start working on our assessments, please. All right, so let's start with the one that says quiz. It is an assessment of 14 questions, okay? Samuel, do you have access to the assessment?
I'm trying to log in.
All right. Vale, do you have access to the assessment, Vale?
Yes, Auntie. I can share my screen if you want to.
Please, that's what I want you to do. Thank you.
Mm, I think that I have to reopen the app. Do you remember that I have the online version of Zoom?
Oh,
I'm sorry.
that's all
There's
right.
no
Take your
way.
time. Meanwhile, please, everyone, start loading your assessments.
Sorry, I'm having issues with my Accelerate. Since 2 weeks ago, my course looks twice, and one of them is empty, and the other one, it says it's fully done. All the modules are completely done.
Yep, it is. I know that issue. I know that issue because some students were double enrolled in the program, so the system just marked one automatically. Sebastian, I'm going to fix that for you straight away. Stay with me, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Now you can see my screen.
Yes, I can. Just give me one little second. Sebastián Jiménez Quintero, isn't it?
Sorry, Marquez, Sebastián Jiménez Marquez.
Okay, Sebastián Jiménez Márquez. Got it. Stay with me, Sebastián. It's going to be a matter of 2 minutes for this to be fixed. Okay, Sebastián, just give the system 1 minute and then refresh, okay? And everything will work for you. Okay, so the first question. The communications industry, which involves marketing, advertising, and media, is changing dramatically. According to class discussions, what are the main drivers of this change? Main drivers, not the main driver, because we know that the main driver is what is the
I
main
would say social media, one of
Social.
them.
that is the
And-
main driver. Social media, we discussed it, but the question is asking us for the main drivers.
Yeah, and the other one,
So,
globalism.
Globalism.
Yes, so click all of that, globalism. Corporate ownership, remember that we talk about that as an
Yep.
issue. Companies owning the TV channels and the newspapers and all of that. So, and also we didn't discuss it, but we know that artificial intelligence as well is changing everything. So let's go and check that. Beautiful. All right, I need everyone here to be doing this at the same time. It's Ayana, are you doing this at the same time?
Yep.
Beautiful. All right, the question number 2. If your organization has enough budget, that is money, enough budget, and time to invest in information, what information source should you prioritize on? Samuel, tell me that one.
Primary
Um,
information.
sorry.
You have money and you have time.
Then primary.
Then primary, because that is the more expensive one. It's not going to be $3,000, it's going to be 20, 30,000. All right, let's check that.
That will be the third option, no?
Second one.
No,
The
because
third one,
if you need
syndicated.
it as soon as possible, you will have to pay for it.
So if you need that now, what do you need to do? Primary, no, because primary will take you time.
That one?
Secondary.
Let's check. I don't know. I'm not pretty sure. Let's check that one. Let's check.
Is the second one.
Is the secondary? Okay, let's go secondary then.
Yep.
I think that is syndicated information
No, it's
because
I
last
have
one.
the
if you
same
need it,
feeling.
if you need it
Yeah.
as soon as
Yeah.
possible, and you have the budget, you just have to buy that information.
That is
But
Yeah,
it,
for me, it's the
it
same.
might take more time on the secondary.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I already put the third one and it's incorrect.
I know.
So that's why.
Yeah, I did that too. It's incorrect.
but-
You have to go with the second one.
Yeah,
Let's
I
go
was
with the
You have to
confused
put
because you
secondary
answered.
information. That's the right one.
guys, let's wait a second. All right, let's think about this, because Valeria has a really good point here. Valeria has a really good point. Let me read this twice. If your organization has enough budget to invest in information, so you have money, correct, and you need the information now. Yes, because if the question says the organization does not have bad. All right, guys, give me a second. I will try to change this, because I reckon we should change that to syndicated. Give me 1 second, guys. Stay with me, because I think Valeria has a really strong point here.
But what was the example that you used, Santi, for explaining the secondary information?
You go to the net, you go to a website,
Okay, yeah, online.
you find the
sí.
information online, or you find the information published in a magazine. So it is not expensive.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
not so
It is
that's
not
why
expensive,
it is not
and it is not as soon as possible as well.
Yeah,
So-
the first one and the second
It may
one
take you a little
takes
bit more
time.
time. Correct. All right. So let me see if I can. Don't mark anything, guys, if you haven't marked it. Otherwise,
Okay.
go back, because I will try to change this, because I think Valeria has a really good point here. That's good. This is all part of the constant improvement that we do. All right. So let's try to see what is the code of this unit.
You mean the
The number
alphanumeric one? The
439, isn't it?
439, yeah.
439.
I'm not able to undo the answer that I already choose.
Let's
I
see.
choose the secondary. So
Let me see. Let me see if I can do something about this.
Yeah, so I think that what really matters is that all of us just understand what the real answer is and the reason why, because
100%,
Yeah.
100% agree. But I just don't. All right. Yeah, it's not as simple to change at the moment because we're working on it.
Mhm.
Please mark secondary, guys, just for the sake of the assessment. But it's good that we did this exercise. Valeria has a really strong point. I'll be changing this for the coming students.
So the main reason is that it is syndicated information. Can you explain that again, please?
Yes. So there are companies in the world that are very, very well known, and they are consulting market research companies. Examples of these companies: Nielsen. There is Nielsen in Colombia. There is Nielsen in Brazil. There is Nielsen in Australia. What they do market research. Another important company in Australia that do market research, specialized in market research, is Deloitte. But also there is another one that is called Ernst & Young. There is another one that is called PwC. And many others. These companies, the only thing they do is sending consultants and experts to do market research to analyze markets every day of the year. And they collect information and they have general information about the market, and then they sell those reports to people like you and me for $3,000, $4,000. All right. So it's not crazy expensive as primary, because primary will cost you 20, 30, 50,000, but it's not cheap as secondary. All right. So that's why syndicated information is published by a specialized market research company, but you need to pay for the rights to read it. So you go to Nielsen website, you see the reports, and you say, yes, I want to buy it. You pay for it online, and then you have a PDF with all the market research after you paid $3,000. That is syndicated, Mariana.
Okay, thank you so much.
It's a company that is selling market research as a report, as a PDF. And they have e-commerce, and you buy the reports straight away from their website. All right, cool. So let's go to the next one, Vale, and thank you for that annotation. All right. So let's select the main communication industry sectors. Voice, of course, is very important to mention voice, especially now with Alexa, with Siri coming to the market. Beautiful. Mobile. Everybody needs to have a mobile in order to send text messages and so on. Retail. Let me think.
I think all of them, but
I don't know retail. Let's leave retail alone. Let's leave
internet,
retail
yes. Television as well, radio as well, cable as well. I think you should mark.
I think it's all of them, because I think it's all of them,
them.
because retail, they also can do something that is called merchandising. Merchandising is when they position the products for people to consume very close to the cashier. So that is communication as well. So let's just click all of them: radio, streaming media, newspapers, magazine, all of them. Guys, metaverse is coming as well, all right? Especially now that Apple has launched a new device for people to access metaverses. Metaverses is the next frontier. So let's click that one as well.
How works cloud on here, Santi?
Cloud, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cloud, a lot of the communication is happening in the cloud, since companies are using cloud servers instead of console servers. So a console server is based in the company and is managed by IT. A cloud server is available to anyone 24 hours per day, regardless of the location. And companies are using cloud in order to communicate with sellers, with suppliers, with customers, regardless of time of the day and regardless of location. So that's why cloud is becoming a very strong communication sector as well.
Okay.
All right, so let's mark all of them. Beautiful. Let's check. Good. All right, this is tricky. This is tricky. Let's see. You need to drag and drop, Vale.
It is not the location important for answering that question, Santi?
Yes, 100%. But let's talk about Australia. Let's think about Australia being the location, okay?
I think that TikTok is globally, well, at this time still the first social media channel. Still, it's like the winner all the time.
Santi
need to
just
put-
told us linking was the first one. I think so.
Oh, I didn't
But-
know.
No. In fact, all right, good point. Let's talk about this for a second. In terms of masses, in terms of TikTok is growing dramatically, exponentially.
Yeah.
And Facebook is going down, but still in terms of numbers of users, Facebook is still number one.
Facebook on the top, then it's
Facebook is
followed by
at the top.
YouTube. Yeah.
And then YouTube, because that is the most used search engine for people to find information with how-to videos. So Facebook should be number one because of number of users, and YouTube should be number two because of the traffic. All right.
Then Instagram is
Then Instagram,
Instagram.
just very close to TikTok now.
And then LinkedIn
TikTok, and
and,
finally LinkedIn, because LinkedIn, even though it's fantastic and I really recommend you, is mostly used for professional purposes. So let's try.
Is that right? Is that the correct?
that's correct.
order?
Let's try that order.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, all right. We didn't talk about this in the class, so I'm going to explain this to you guys. All right. Guys, when you send, we talk about emails. Remember that I told you that emails are very important in the communications industry because we can track if the email was sent, if it was not sent, you know, if it bounced, all of that. Now, when we have a database of emails, we can do an email campaign. And email campaigns are really powerful. They are really, really good. They are really effective. All right. So we have different metrics for us to find out if our email campaign was successful or not. Guys, I want you to think about a database of 100 emails. Please think about a database of 100 emails. What is a database? An Excel spreadsheet. Everybody knows Excel here, yes? Yeah, it is that familiar. So Excel spreadsheet with 100 emails. Think about that. Email, property number one, name, last name. Think about that database. You got it in your mind? All right. So let's imagine that you sent an email to those 100 people in that database with information about your company. If you send 100 emails, what is the delivery rate? If you have 100 emails in the database and you send 100 emails in the database, what is the delivery rate?
How many? Yeah.
100%?
Delivery is how many you have sent?
100%, isn't it? Because you have 100 in the database and you send successfully 100 emails. So what is the delivery rate?
100%.
What about if 10 emails, they are not working, you know, the typing was wrong, or the person passed away and that email does not exist anymore. So let's say that you have 100 emails in the database, and when you press send, only 90 emails were successfully sent. What is the delivery rate? Guys, quickly, what is the delivery rate? You have 100 in the database and 90 were sent.
It's still
90%.
like
90%.
What is the rate?
90%.
90%. All right, guys, if the delivery rate is below 90%, you need to clean that database. You need to find how to make it better. All right? Don't forget about that. That is industry standard. A database with a 90% or below delivery rate needs to be studied and addressed. So now you know what is the delivery rate. Now, I'm going to tell you what is the opening rate. Imagine that you send 100 emails to these 100 people. So the delivery rate is 100 people. It's 100%. And 10 people, no, let's say 50 people open that email. They click, you know, they receive the email and they click on it and they open it. What is the opening rate?
50%.
50%. Beautiful. 50% out of 100%. Beautiful. So we have 50%. Now, that 50% becomes 100% because they open the email. If 10 people open, sorry, if 10 people, they actually buy something that was in that email. You know, in that email, you say, buy now and save 20%. And people click in that button and they bought your products. What is the conversion rate?
10%.
20%. Well done. So which one is the most important rate for us? Number of people that receive the email, number of people that
Conversion.
open the email, or number of people that actually did something with the email?
The conversion.
Something.
People that did something with the email, which is conversion. So click on the conversion rate, please.
Santi, but if you don't have a good delivery rate, you couldn't have the conversion rate. So
100%.
this is like the first
Totally right.
step for getting a good metric. I mean,
But
you can't have the conversion rate if you don't have a delivery rate.
But that is expected. It is expected that the database is clean. It is expected.
Yes.
Marketers, they expect to work with clean databases. Marketing analysts, they provide the databases to you, and their work is to provide a clean database to you. Your manager, your supervisor will not ask you about the delivery rate. That person doesn't care. That is technical. Your manager will ask you about the conversion rate. And that's why for us is the most important metric, okay?
Like a consequence of.
Of course, is the output of the entire campaign.
Santi,
Yes?
I have a question. Like conversion rate, we have the way to measure it. The opening rate also, because it's the people who actually open the email. But how you measure the delivery rate? If it's not just like sending like you send 100 emails, and
Good question. All right. So when you send the emails, of course, you try to send all of them. Then you will have something that is called hard bounces, and you will have something that is called soft bounces. So what is a hard bounce? A hard bounce is when the system, the CRM system, recognizes that that person doesn't exist anymore. That person passed away. So that email was closed. Or that person is no longer working in that company. You know that a lot of people have company emails, and when they left the company, that email is canceled. So even if you keep sending emails to that email address, that person will never receive it. Pass away, or that person doesn't use that email anymore. That is a hard bounce. So the system will tell you, out of 100 emails, we have 10 bounces, all right? So we have a delivery rate of 90%, 10% of bounces, 5 are hard bounces. There is nothing that you can do. And the other 5, soft bounces. What is a soft bounce? Sometimes you send emails and that email box of that individual is full. There is not more storage space for that person to receive emails. You know what I mean? But eventually, the system that person is using is telling that person, hey, you need to delete emails because there is no more storage in your Outlook. So go and delete emails. And the person goes, oh my goodness, I'm going to delete 100 emails. Delete. That creates space. And then straight away, That person starts receiving 5, 6 emails in 1 second. That is a southbound because the system will try again to send that email and the delivery rate may change. But that is how we measure that with hard bounces and soft bounces.
Okay, and when something like for improve that measure could be like if you have emails that are not working anymore, just delete it from your list of emails, then that's improve your.
It depends on the
your
legislation and the industry. In some industries, like the education industry, you need to keep records for at least 7 years. So you cannot delete it, but you can. How is it called? You can.
Storage then?
No, it's not that. It's you need to deactivate that contact. You deactivate
okay.
that contact, but you cannot delete it because some industries are very strict with that. All right, but other industries, they don't care. You know, retail, they don't need to storage information. So if they know that the person doesn't exist anymore or that person moves to a different country, they will delete that straight away from the database. But when it's insurance, when it's health, when it's education, when it's government, those industries, they need to keep the records for some years, 5, 7, 10 years. So you cannot
Okay.
delete it, you just deactivate them. Yeah. All right, question 7. What policy you should always look before you send an email, a social media post to your customers? What policy? The
Privacy.
policy, the
Privacy.
health and safety, or the
Privacy.
warranty policy? The privacy policy.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you receive the email and then there is something at the bottom that says, read our privacy policy. So you know what the company is doing with the information that you are providing. All right, so when you're writing an email or when you are recording a YouTube video, all right, when you should add more impact? At the beginning of the video, middle of
At the
video,
beginning.
or at the
The
end?
first beginning.
The first
At the
beginning.
end.
First few
At the end. At
seconds.
the end.
No, not at the end. Not at the end.
No, you
Why
have to
not?
create an impact. Like immediately when the
Yeah.
people is saying something, you have to catch their attention.
Yeah.
But
Otherwise, they leave.
wouldn't it be better to like leave them with the impact with like a positive like note at the end?
No.
So like they're like keep on thinking about it.
Yeah,
But maybe
No, my
they
dear.
are
if
not
you
going to
don't
engage
catch
with the
their
video.
attention, they are
It doesn't happen
gonna,
like that.
they're
That
never
would be
gonna
nice.
be
Yeah.
at the end.
Remember
Uh-huh.
that people is bombarded by YouTube videos. And YouTube videos, if you leave the YouTube video before the minutes, before the first 10 seconds, that is a bounce. That is a bounce. Even if you were that, so you need to give all the impact at the beginning of the video for people to keep watching the video. The same with emails. The subject of the email has to be the most powerful thing in the email for people to actually open that email. So the subject has to be fantastic, and the first lines of the email, they have to be super catchy as well for people to continue reading the email before you close it. All right, check. Good. All right. We haven't talked about this either. All right. In marketing, we need to create ideal representations of our marketing or buyer persona. What is the marketing or buyer persona? It's our ideal customer. Is that customer that we all want to have. And we know how that customer looks like. We know what kind of music that customer
We can create them. Like we have to do a prototype of that buyer persona.
Exactly. So we create a representation of our ideal customer. Example, imagine that Mariana is selling, I don't know, something that is very tasty, but very small, very expensive. You know, Mariana is selling a dessert that is so sophisticated, that is extremely delicate. you know, is extremely fine in terms of the ingredients that she's using for this particular dessert. Of course, it's very expensive because of those ingredients. The packaging is extremely well crafted because she wants the experience to be outstanding for the person that is receiving that as a gift, or whatever is the case. All right. So let's imagine that that is the product. A little, Mariana, what is that? What is that that you were telling me the other day? What is that you sell?
It's a basket burnt cheesecake. It's like a Spanish dessert. So good.
Right. And how's it called?
Well, in Spanish, like tarta de queso, but it's like you can
Tart?
call it basket burnt cheesecake,
All right.
because you have to bake it. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
What is the price of it, of 1 unit in dollars?
Oh, I have to convert it because in Colombia, it was 65,000.
Yeah.
Expensive, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, but
it's,
it's worth it,
but it's worth it. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So good. So
All
in
right.
dollars, I don't know, maybe 25,
All right.
more or less.
All right. Let's say
$30,
Oh,
$20.
that's a good price. That's
but
a
it's
good price,
big.
actually.
And it's big. Like
Right.
10, you can put it into 10
So it
portions.
easily could be $30. Easily.
Yeah, 40. Tell me 40.
Or
Australian
40. I can't, yeah, because these
Oh, you
cakes.
have to try it.
Australian
Right.
are stupid and they pay for that.
Now
40
let's
with no problem.
let's say that the cheesecake is $40. All right. Now, what is your ideal customer? Is it what people buy more, your cakes, your desserts, women or men?
Woman, yeah.
Which age group? 5 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 50 to 60.
It's between 20 to, well, like 50. I have a huge range, like, but most of them, I think they are between their 30s.
30s to 40s?
30 to 40, right.
30 to 40.
40 to 50, yeah.
30 to 40 or 40 to 50?
Well, I think more 30 to 40.
All right, 30 to 40. So women, 30 to 40. These
Mhm.
women that are 30 to 40, are they professionals? Are they traders? They don't have education. They came from
No,
farms.
they are professionals. Yeah.
So professional women, age 30 to 40. They live close to the city or they live far away in the countryside?
Close to the city.
They live close to the city. These women, are they, like, they like to do sports, they like to go to the gym, they like to wear good clothes? Are they sophisticated kind of women, or they don't care a lot, or they don't care at all about that?
Well, yeah, most of them are sophisticated women, yeah.
Beautiful. So now we can picture that. We can picture that sophisticated woman that is wearing nice dresses, that is going to this specialized bakery of yours, that is buying the cheesecake. She's 30, 40, and she has this professional lifestyle. We can picture that person in our head. That is the marketing persona. And we need to create, we need to design that person, and we need to give it a form, a name. What could be the best name for this customer of yours? How we call that person? Give me a name.
The name, like in the name of a girl?
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Give me one. It's not. It is going to be Marta.
Obviously, Marta. I was thinking in Marta.
Yeah, I was thinking like in Gabriela.
All right. So Gabriela cheesecake, Gabriela Cheese will be our marketing persona. Who is Gabriela Cheese? It's a sophisticated woman that goes to work from 8:30 in the morning till 4:30 in the morning. When she finishes working, she goes to the gym, but after the gym, she wants to treat herself, and she goes to the bakery and she buys this cheesecake for $40 that she can enjoy watching a TV or movie, whatever. That is the story that represents the marketing of our persona. We always need to do this before we send communications to our buyers. Why? Because that will allow us to funnel, to optimize our communications. Now you know that you will not be sending communications about your products to women that are aged 10 to 15. Now you
Yeah,
know.
no, they're not my target.
Because it's not your target. So the marketing persona will help us to define our target. Exactly right. So what are the criteria to select the communication channel? The marketing or buyer persona, because you need to find out what is the communication channel that Gabriela uses. What communication she uses, what channel she uses. Uses LinkedIn, uses YouTube, uses TikTok. You don't need to answer that, but that is what we need to define. But for us to define that, we need to define the marketing persona. All right, check that. Great. All right, reporting analytics should always be contrasted with data. All right, so what does it mean? When you report to your manager the effectiveness of your campaign, you need to contrast the numbers that you get in this campaign against a previous campaign. Why? You can tell me, Santi, in this campaign, we sent 100 emails and we got a conversion rate of 20%. 20 people that received the emails, they bought the cheesecakes. And you may tell me, Santi, and that is so good. And then I will reply, it is so good against what? How was your previous campaign? Oh, my previous campaign, we had a conversion rate of 40%, so it's not good. We always need to compare the results of the current campaign with the previous campaign. If this is our first campaign, we cannot do analysis. We need to wait for the second round. Is that clear, guys? I just want you guys to understand, when you analyze results of your marketing and communications campaign, you always need to compare it with the previous similar campaign before you tell results to management. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful.
So that will be this option.
Always, yeah. What do you think?
Feedback?
Yep.
Feedback, yep.
So let's try that.
That would be professional development.
Very
I think.
important because that is training.
Both of them.
But also your manager could mentor you, could provide you direct coaching.
Yeah.
So let's select both of them. Ongoing is an automated compliance process that ensures your business is up to date with any changes related to the industry. It also works as a feedback mechanism used by management. All right. Ongoing what?
Training would be? No.
It may be. What else?
Coaching,
Yeah.
feedback.
Monitoring.
Ongoing monitoring, all right? You need to monitor. Always you need to keep an eye on your communications. So ongoing is that you don't stop. You always need to monitor your communications. You cannot let it go. You know, if you send an email, you need to find out what was the result. If you send a social media post, you need to find out what was the engagement. You need to monitor everything that you do. So ongoing monitoring, just write the word monitoring, please. Ongoing monitoring is an automated compliance process that ensures your business is up to date with any changes related to the communications industry, which is what we are talking about. It also works as a feedback mechanism used by management. Why? Because management can find out if the results of what you are doing is adding value to the company or not, and they will judge you based on those results. So the first space, blank space, monitoring. The second one, communications. Right, communications, all right? Communications, because
Yep.
the industry is called communications with S at the end. Good. All right. There is something that is called marketing collaterals. The answer is there. So just write collaterals, but I'm going to explain what is that. A marketing collateral is anything that supports your marketing. For example, a flyer. For example, a pamphlet. For example, a brochure. For example, a poster. So a website, anything that you do to support your marketing, but it's not your business, it's not your product itself, is called marketing collateral. The best example of this are flyers and posters. Have you seen that some people in the streets, they send or they give you flyers for they to support the marketing? That is a marketing collateral. It's something extra that you do in order to support your marketing. All right. So let's check that.
Yes.
Beautiful. That's it. So the quiz is completed and passed. All right, beautiful. Let's go back to the learning plan. All right. Now, let's go to the observation, please. Observation. Yep.
Just here.
Start attempt. All right, so let's do this quickly. I don't want you to write anything. Valeria, you're doing this, yes? This is Valeria?
Yeah.
Vale, I don't want you to write anything because this has to be independent by each one of you guys. But I will explain each point quickly, and you need just to take note or to watch this recording later. The item number 1, do you have skills and knowledge to identify and access sources of information? And now you know the sources of information. So you say, yes, I know that the sources of information could be primary, could be secondary, could be syndicated. I also know that I can source information from government websites. I also can source information from industry organizations. I can source information from my customers. I can source information from the internet. But if I need to allocate this in categories, they will be primary, secondary, and syndicated. You need to talk a little bit about that. All right, number 2, move to number 2. Click the menu that you have on the left. Go to the left. Yeah, click there. Right. Do you have skills and knowledge to research sources of information and document outcomes? Yes. You know that primary information is very expensive, but it's very accurate. So you may say, if one day I need to do market research, I will avoid doing primary research because I don't have time and I don't have the budget. If you say that, straight away I know that you know. You may say, I will prefer to do syndicated information because I work in a medium-sized company and we have the necessary budget to pay for syndicated. Or you may say, you know what, I will not do primary, I will not do syndicated, I will do secondary information because I just use the web and I go to the internet and I find the information that I need quickly, and then I make the decision and then I just continue with the process. All right? But you need to give me that kind of information. Go to number 3. Do you have skills and knowledge to analyze communications industry sectors, associations, and networks, and how they play an important role in society? We talk a lot about that. Newspapers, magazines, television channels, social media channels, they play a very important role in society nowadays. They are very important for the communications industry. There are also associations that will absorb, will contain information from businesses that belong to that industry. I'm going to give you an example. In Australia, there is a truck association or an association of truckers, people that drive trucks. And they collect data every year about what trucks they buy, how many kilometers they ride, what kind of content they deliver, and all of that. The Industry Association of Truckers in Australia, they can provide the information to anyone in that industry when they want to make decisions. So that's why industry sectors and associations are very important for us as well. There are as well, medical associations, and medical associations will compile all the information about how people is getting sick, why they are getting sick, what sort of medicines are they consuming in order to improve their health, what sort of food they consume in order to improve their health, what is the location where they live, and if there is proximity to hospitals, and blah, 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 blah. And they provide that information to anyone in that industry that is looking to make decisions. So we talk about syndicated, yes. We talk about primary, yes. We talk about secondary, yes. But also, I want you to remember that in some particular cases, in some industries, they are so organized. They are so organized that they have all the data of how people is using, consuming, selling, producing within that industry. And they can provide that information for anyone looking to make decisions. All right, let's go to the next one. Number 4. Do you have skills and knowledge to analyze technological developments? We talk a lot about this. ChatGPT. So tell me about ChatGPT. Have you used ChatGPT? Don't tell me I don't like. Remember that we don't use words like or dislike. Teacher, I prefer not to talk much about this because it's a sensitive topic, but some people that I know, they have used ChatGPT and seems like they can do a lot of automated work. That is allowing me to make a decision in terms of your knowledge. Or you can tell me, Santi, TikTok right now is a trend. Is something that is growing exponentially. More people is using TikTok than 2-3 years ago, and less people is using Facebook than 2-3 years ago. That allows me to know that you know what is going on. All right, let's go to the number 5. So what are deliverables? Remember, the communication deliverables. Yes, I know. You need to say, yes, I know that deliverables are emails, social media posts, TV ads, printed media, marketing collateral, newsletters, very important newsletters. Try to mention that one day. All right.
Instant messages.
So when you do the communication, the deliverable is the shape of it. Is it an email? It is a newsletter. Is it a social media post? It is a TV ad. It is a radio ad. It is a Google ad. What is that? So that's what you need to define there. Let's go to number 6, please. All right. Do you have the skills to research and prepare deliverables according to the company's policies and procedures? We talk a little bit about this. You need to tell me, Santi, before I publish anything, I need to read the company's policies and procedures when we use social media. Okay, done. If you say that in that answer, I know that you know. If you say, Santi, before I publish anything, I will consult with my manager if the company has an up-to-date policy before I publish any content in the internet. Well done. So what I want you to tell me is, Santi, I know that I need to read the company's policy in terms of how to use the internet, how to use social media, how to talk to customers, how to communicate to customers, how to visit customers, and all of that. Privacy policies and everything that we discussed. Right, fantastic. Number 7. Do you have the skills and knowledge to organize information? Do you have the skills and knowledge to organize information? So what is that? Remember that we talk about databases, yeah? What is the most important information in a database? Who knows? Quickly, guys, what is the most important information in a database?
Email.
That's it. That's it. And what is the second most important information in a database?
Age?
No,
The phone numbers.
no. The name.
Oh, name. Yeah.
The name of the person. The first one is the email. The second one is the name. The third one,
Address probably.
no. We don't send post anymore. We no the address. First one email. The second one is
Phone number?
name, and the third one is phone number. And everything else is not that important. So that's what you need to tell me there. You need to tell me, Santi, yes, I know how to organize information. I know that if I have a database in the column A of my spreadsheet, I will have my emails there. And then the name, and then the telephone number, and then everything else, nationality, age, marital status, social, blah, 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 blah. All right? That is organizing information in the database. As far as you tell me that email is the most important one, you will pass that question. All right, let's go to question number 8, please. All right, what is criteria for assessing deliverables? Remember, you send the deliverable, which is an email, for example, and how do you know that that email was successful?
Because the call to action?
Because
It didn't bounce back.
the call to action was very powerful. People click on it, and that will increase
Conversion
what
rate.
What rate, Samuel?
Conversion rate.
My conversion rate. So yes, I know that for me to assess the deliverables, I will use rates, like for example, the conversion rate, the opening rate, the delivery rate, and the opening rate, blah, blah, blah. The most important one being the conversion rate, because that means money, that means new customers, that means cash flow, that means our business growing. Then I know that you know about that. Right, number 9. I told you, before you publish, you need to share that email with your manager or with your colleague. Before you publish that social media post, you need to pass it through human resources so they know that there is nothing offensive there that will affect your business. All right? So you know that, I told you that. I don't do anything without consulting with your team, without consulting with your managers, because once it's published, it's too late. So that's what you need to say there, that you have the skills and knowledge to manage that. Number 10. All right, once the deliverable was sent, hey, what do you think about this email? Was it good? What should I do better next time? So what I want you to write here is, yes, Santi, I have the skills and knowledge to seek feedback. I know that after the campaign was completed, I need to report this to my manager and to my team, and I need to ask them, hey, look, if we need to do this in 2-3 months, what would you do different the next time? What should we change? What should we improve? What didn't work this time so we don't use it next time? That is what I want you to write there. That you understand the importance of reporting, but not for the sake of reporting per se, for the sake of getting feedback, so you apply that feedback to do something better next time. Constant improvement. All right, number 11. Of course, once you have received once you have received the feedback, it is your responsibility to incorporate that feedback in the next marketing campaign. If you don't do that, you are being naive. You are being irresponsible with the work that you do at that business. So if you receive feedback, you analyze it. You don't need to apply all the feedback, but you need to filter it, and you need to take the good of it, and you need to apply it, and you need to take the bad of it, and you need to discard it. All right. Question 12. So how we can implement procedures for ongoing monitoring of our communications? I told you about CRMs. We should install a customer relationship management system in our business. Examples, HubSpot. Examples, Salesforce. Examples, Marketo. Why? Because that will allow us to monitor this campaign against the previous one, and will allow us to project what should be the results of the coming one. So it's a 360-degree view of our marketing. And the only way to do that is through technology, called CRM. So for the question 12, I need you to write the CRM, which means, yes, Santi, I know that customer relationship management systems are really important for us to doing ongoing monitoring of our marketing and communication campaigns. Question 13. Do you have skills and knowledge to update information? Well, I mean,
Yes.
if you receive the feedback and they tell you, look, you wrote June, but it's not June, it's July, you need to change that in the email. Of course, you need to go and do that. If you receive the feedback and people told you, look, here in Australia, we don't call it fall, we call it autumn. All right, now I know that I cannot use fall because that is an American expression. I need to use autumn. So I'm going to update my communication. All right. If you send an email and you send the email with dear sir, dear madam, then your manager will tell you, look, here in Australia, we don't use this formality when we communicate with our customers. We are very informal with the communication in Australia. Please go and change that. You need to go and change that. So the last point, which is the point number 13, is about you having the skills and knowledge to update the information deliverable and make it as requested by the company policies and procedures or your manager's perspective. Guys, that is it. That is it. All right. So stop sharing now, Vale, please. Beautiful. I'm going to call the attendance, guys. It's going to be 2 minutes. And that will be it for today. Just give me 1 second. All right, I'll be telling the names and you tell me, all right? Samuel, you here?
Yeah.
Panaranjri?
Yep.
Kanlayathun? Ampini?
Yes.
Arunchanat? Deborah? Supicha?
Yes.
Thank you. Angela? Fernando? Natalia?
Yes.
Itza? Itzayana?
Yes.
Vanessa? Jingai? Jinjai?
Yes.
Sebastián Jiménez? Sebas was here anyway. Fonfi Mom?
Yep.
Sasipi Mom?
Yes.
Pedro Lucas? Alice? Nicole?
Yes.
Yes, Santi.
Okay, Pedro here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Alice? Nicole?
I'm here, Santi.
Thank you. Eri?
Yes, I'm here.
Good. Let me try to continue with this. All right. Sarisa?
Yes.
Guys, if I have called you, you can leave now. Thank you for coming today. And I will see you guys next class. Don't forget to complete your assessments. If you need a one-to-one meeting with me, just send me an email, all right? But if I have called you, you can leave. Isabel?
Yes, here.
Thank you, Isa.
Okay,
Santiago?
see you.
Girawan?
Yes, I'm here.
Jain Nicola? Alisa?
Yes, Alisa.
Beautiful. Sabrina? Valeria?
Here.
Thank you, Vale. Fantastic participation today as usual. Thank you so much. Talk to you this week if you can, okay?
Please, Andy, I just want to ask you something. And I wanted to ask you as well if you talked to the people, to the Institute, about that weird section that they made on Saturdays, on Wednesday, on all the schedule on a Tuesday. I'm not
Yes,
sure
I
if you-
did. I did talk to them and they will send an email explaining everything. They told me that they will manage that communication though. So they clarified it to
Okay.
me. I understood what they want to do, but they will send the communication to you guys. So I
So
hope.
what do they want to do? Like,
What is that?
what's
I think
what
it's the
do they?
same. We just continue the same, just having the classes on Friday, right?
Of course, of course, of course.
Mhm.
Right. But I told them about you guys wanting to know exactly what is going to happen in terms of face-to-face delivery and so on. And they know, all right, cool. We're going to let them know. So just wait for that because I just talked to them yesterday. All right.
Okay.
So
Okay. Santi, after the class, may I have a minute with you?
sure, Vale. No worries.
Thank you. So may I stay here in this link or you'll send me another link?
No,
or
stay
something?
here. Stay here. I just
Okay.
stopped the recording.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Alonso. Sutida, Yori.
Yes,
Yori?
Suchida, yes.
Sutida.
Thank you.
Jessica, thank you. Jessica. Kunjapun.
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank you so much. Mariana, here you are. Chupaka,
Thank you.
Yes.
Cindy,
I am here, teacher.
thank you. Sudarat.
Yes.
Nelson. Pungwadi. Sarunlak.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you so much, Sarunlak. Pakamon.
Yes, I'm here.
Great. Camila.
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank you, Cami. Kamaiton. Giranum. Maria Eduarda.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maria. All right, guys, thank you. I have called the attendance and everything has been completed for today's class. I will see you face-to-face next Friday unless you have a one-to-one meeting with me scheduled for next week. Bye for now.